Do you need to be rich to move abroad? Technically, no. But are you considered rich if you are moving abroad or if you're living in the US and moving to a developing country? The answer is yes. Whether you think that you are rich yourself or not, the perception that locals will have of you is that you are rich. And in today's video, I'm going to share some reasons why you are considered rich, even if yourself you don't think that you are rich. A lot of people will complain when they are moving abroad and they are perceived as a dollar sign. Like, okay, people want to scam me, people want to rip me off, people will give me tourist prices, or a lot of foreigners will be victims to scams or even be charged more because they are foreigners. And that's very unfortunate. I'm not trying to justify this because that's just not right. But I wanted to shed some light on what the perception could be from the other side. Because at the end of the day, I believe that it all boils down to American privilege. Not only what we've seen on TV of what America projects itself to the world, but now as an individual, even though you are not the Kardashian or you're not Beyonce, when you're comparing US poverty to developing country poverty, it is very, very different. At least if you are poor in the US, technically there are systems that help people who need financial support, like SNAP services, WEEK services, and things like that. Now, one of the reasons why you might be perceived as rich is, first of all, the fact that you can have a passport. In a lot of places, you will get a passport only when you are ready to travel. If you don't have plans to travel, you're not going to get all the paperwork done to acquire a passport because it costs a lot of money. So having a passport already shows that you have certain purchasing power. The second thing is that you are ready to use that passport. So you are able to purchase an airplane ticket. Sure, you might say that maybe you put it on layaway, or maybe you're using points for a credit card or things like that, and you're not paying cash right away. There's still cash involved behind these strategies. You're still going to pay it some way, somehow. Even if you're using points, that means that you're making another purchase for you to get those credit card points, right? So there is money involved. You have the financial power to purchase a plane ticket. Let's say you're moving to Argentina, buying a plane ticket from Chicago to Buenos Aires. If you're taking a regular American and not rich at all, but just like even not even middle class, and you want to move from Chicago to Buenos Aires in Argentina. You don't consider yourself rich, but you're still able to put together your money to buy a plane ticket from Chicago to Buenos Aires. Your counterpart in Argentina, traveling from Buenos Aires to Chicago is going to be a lot more expensive for them just looking at Google Flights, but also because of the cost of living and what that money represents for a regular person living in Buenos Aires, Argentina, okay? The other thing that comes with the fact that you can travel to another country is if you don't need a visa to enter that country. Most nationalities around the world will be required to have a visa, to apply for a visa to come into the United States on a tourist visa, while Americans with an American passport will be able to visit most countries visa free. So without having to spend extra money on top of the airplane ticket. So you can see that there's already a disadvantage in terms of economic power when it comes to visiting a country, visiting specifically a developing country. So yes, people will see you and perceive you as rich because the fact that you have a passport and the fact that you can purchase a plane ticket to come and visit. Even if it's not to move there, just to visit, yes, that already brands you as somebody with money because you do have money. It does take money to travel, even if you don't consider yourself rich. You might not be rich, but you do have some money because those activities require money. And obviously, the other costs involved with the travel, whether it's accommodation like hotels or Airbnb, souvenirs that you're going to buy, the food that you're going to eat, all these things that show that you have some economic power. Okay. Now, that doesn't justify scamming foreigners, but that proves that foreigners coming in will have a higher economic power than the shopkeeper where they're buying fruits and vegetables from. And not specifically when it comes to moving abroad and the American advantage that we often overlook because we take it for granted, which allows Americans to move abroad and live abroad. But now let's talk about the income power, like the financial power that many Americans already have when they move abroad, and that allows them to make that move abroad. That includes retirements or benefits or even passive income from real estate, things like that that allow many Americans to make the move abroad. If these structures didn't exist, the move abroad would be less likely to happen. That's the first thing when it comes to economic power. The second level is being able to have online businesses or remote jobs or anything that allows us to have income coming in on a regular basis, but not just any income in USD, which is one of the world's most powerful currencies. So when you're moving from a country with high economic power going to a developing country with lower economic power, with a lower currency, and you are getting paid in USD or in pounds or in euros, well, then obviously that move becomes more attractive because you are relying on USD and not on dirhams or nairas or francs or whatever local currency of the country you are moving to. You are relying on your home currency. So that is a big, big, big advantage. And I often talk about the fact that I've been on both sides of the aisle with a weak passport and with a strong passport, and the fact that we all have privileges. So the key is to be able to use your privileges without oppressing other people. So how can we use the American privilege, whether it's from the currency because we have online businesses with American clients who pay us in USD, or because we still have a remote job that pays us in USD, or because we are receiving benefits every single month in USD, how can we use this economic power, this privilege to improve our lifestyles, but without making other people's life miserable for the communities we are going into? So being able to spend money locally, being able to support local businesses so that money stays within the community and it helps the local community instead of patronizing international businesses that will take the money out of the communities and back to the West. So I believe that we both have rights and responsibilities. Some people might say that, well, you know what, I'm only responsible for my life, what I do, and for my family. And that's their opinion. But the thing is that responsibilities come with rights. So the right to get what is rightfully yours, your income in a strong currency, the privileges of an American passport or European passport, and the responsibilities that you have towards the communities welcoming you. Now, because I taught classes on sustainable tourism, I always have that in the back of my mind, like looking at what is the impact of my presence in a space, specifically when I'm traveling abroad. I always think about these things and how my presence is not about extracting resources, but supporting the local community and how I can do that socially, culturally, financially, or otherwise. Even if I can't have a big positive impact on the local economy, how I can at least limit the negative impacts that I might have on the community, whether it's environmental or even socially. How can I limit my negative impact in a community I'm going to, not just to visit, but more importantly, if I'm deciding to move there? So what do you think? What are the responsibilities that we have if we are planning to move to other countries? What kind of responsibilities come with the rights that we already have, with the privileges that we have with an American passport or a European passport or Australian passport, like strong passports that allow you to visit and even move to countries more easily than most passports around the world? So I would love to have your thoughts. If it's something that you think about, I said before that sometimes I struggle with the privileges that I have, but at the end of the day, it's more about, okay, what do you do with it? Because it's not like you can remove the privilege that you have. I mean, in certain cases you could. So it's less about feeling guilty about it and more about, okay, now what is my responsibility? What can I do? How can I better use this privilege? Okay, so let me know your thoughts below. I cannot wait to read your comments. Till next time, bye.